Alright guys, I'm back again. Hopefully we will be closing. Well, we're going to work on getting closed. And yeah, after that we'll play some games and see how it goes. Let's get started. Got my handy dandy cup of coffee. Wish I had gratin too, but let's get started. Okay. So, the only thing I wasn't sure about yet, so I'm not going to bother putting in the HDMI cable yet. I want to verify. Well, let me turn down the music a little bit. We'll turn down everything a little bit. So if you can't hear me now, turn your volume up. Okay, so there we go. Perfect. Anywho, we're going to work on actually closing. But before we close completely, before I worry about the HDMI, the buttons, any of that, I want to make sure that the volume wheel, right here, can still spin after I close it. Bad echo? Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can't figure out why. Echo, echo, echo. Muting these for a moment. Okay. Oh, way too loud. Way too loud. Are you sure you don't have two streams open? I'm only asking because I've done it myself. Hey, Crash. I'm guessing you're home. Um, Working on an audio problem at the moment, Crash. Do you hear one or two of me? One or two? One or two? Ha ha ha. Okay. So apparently whatever it was is fixed. Oh, you're good, Michael. Monitor and output. All right, turn music back on. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Let me guess, you left the stream open earlier and it automatically went live or something. Um, Anywho, gonna work on closing, but first I want to make sure that the volume wheel is free moving. So I'll worry about the buttons and HDMI here in a minute. Okay. Like I said, I've done it myself numerous times, so that's why my first guess was that from experience. So glad you were able to get it sorted though. Okay, looks like that should. Okay, outside wise is good. Gonna mute my mic for a moment though. Shit. I mean, crap. Whatever. I don't remember, is the bottom charger set up or just USB at the top? Oh, the bottom is wired in. I have no way of testing it, so I can't promise that it works. But yes, it is set up, but it is set up as a direct voltage in, just like the one up top. So there's nothing regulating it, so make sure it's 5 volts. Unless the charger accepts more than 5 volts, which I have not looked into, so. Alright. So let me put this in place for a moment. Oh, cool. Alright, so I need to find my other rasp. I think that's what they're called. File, rasp, tomato. Alright, mark the plus side for me if you could. Sure, I can do that. Because what I'll do is I'll actually plug it in to the charge port and just measure the voltage with a voltmeter to make sure. But yeah, I'll mark it. Alright. Muting the mic again. Sorry, I've got it to where the wheel spins now, but I gotta make it pretty, or as pretty as I can at least. Beautiful. Okay. So now, let me just make sure that nothing on the back half is hitting this. And it actually will. So, come here, wire cutters. Yeah, I mean, realistically, depending on what the charger is at and what the retro PSU can accept input voltages on, which I can probably look that up for you later. Even though Helder doesn't, have it public with stuff like that, it's standard components that he's using for his board. But then if the charger for some reason doesn't accept the voltages that the dock is putting out, then the way I would recommend is get the cheap dock charger and then just pull out the internal charging circuitry and replace it with a 5-volt power supply or like a step up, step down, something like that. Just throw a cane kit in it. There we go. Oh, by the way, Crash, you said you're, yeah. Well, that's, what I was going to say is you said your soldering skills suck, right? Are you able to make, like, basic through-hole solder joints? Or no? Because I think I've still got a couple of breakout boards. And you could just throw a breakout board for a 5-volt micro USB in it and then just literally use the cane kit and plug it into your dock. But if that makes sense. Alright, what does? Soldering? Or what? Oh, I mean, as long as you got a connection, you got a connection. Don't say that to soldering enthusiasts, though. But yeah, depending on what all is on the docks or whatnot, because I've never taken one away, or charged one rather. If you can, like, depending on how those docks are set up, if it's like a charge-only dock, not a data dock, it should really just be some charging circuitry and running directly to those contact pins. So you would literally just hijack those wires. If not, I mean, well, then you just got to run some new wires. Obviously, use thicker gauge, but run some new wires to the contacts and literally just um, just hook it into one of these guys. The ones that you had me get for the charger. So then all you would have to do, you wouldn't have to worry about, the IO, you wouldn't have to worry about D plus, D minus. All you would need would be the voltage and ground. But yeah, if you can hook into those, I would just toss one of these into the dock and use your Cana kit and plug directly into it. Alright. So, Be right back. I'm seeing if I can't find a can of compressed air to get absolutely as much crap out as I can. Between Dremel dust and, oh, that's annoying. Between all the crap in the air and then just dust from the Dremel and everything. I'd like to compress out, blow that out, but give me a minute. Oh, by the way, Crash, if you're home, I'm guessing it's probably just in the boot config. But where do I put the memory split options so that I can do so? Because I want to see if it responds to me any better. Because I'm thinking it's probably the memory split that I was running into issues with earlier. Well, looks like I do not have any compressed air, or it's somewhere else. So, sorry. I got almost everything out, and it's everything you'll ever see anyways. Okay. HDMI and 3 buttons. Oh, by the way, I just want to point out the fact that, like, whenever I took this thing apart, the little piece of plastic that holds these triggers on, it literally fell off on that one. So I repaired it, and the funny part is, it's actually better than this one. So I just thought that was funny. Because I didn't use cheap woo-ha plastic, you know? Alright. So it's not something you can set in the boot config. Oh, okay. I'm guessing that just generates it for you. Perfect. Yeah, I can't remember what settings are set in there right now. Because I went back to mostly stock. Alright, so Crash, I think I've told you before, but whenever you tear this down, well, not tear it down, but whenever you open it up, this is the service port on the back. This right here is how you access the Teensy. So you flip that switch over, and then, okay, so in is Raspberry Pi. I'm going to make a note of all this so that it's a lot easier. But, okay, we don't have to worry about Buck. But, okay. Whoops. Alright, so switches. Alright, so diag teensy diag switch in is Raspberry Pi, out external USB. Okay, so next would be I'm gonna call it the charge switch, but it's realistically it's an enable switch for the for the actual charger board. So let's see, what is this one? And I think this enables the Pi. Hold on, let's find out. Alright. So in is off. Okay, so in is charge only. Out is charge and power. And then finally the master is in. Master in is on, out is off. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, that piece is useless. Okay. As much as I like this song, because I actually do, I want something that's a little more uppity. Hmm. This is all right. We'll listen to this for now until it bores me. Do I have the skill to plug in a lamp with my toes? Perhaps. Do I feel like it? Perhaps. Okay, screw this. Be right back. Okay. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's no wires inside in the way of the closing hole. So, making sure my headset was still on because I heard a beep. Now I don't have it fully assembled right now, but before I even bother putting the rest of the screws in, I'm going to do a power on. Okay. There we go. We've got joystick. Cool. Cool. That means I can continue closing. But first I want to make a change to my image. Oh yeah, also the wife's not here right now, so... Well, even if she was, she's awake now, so I can turn up to full volume. 9.165 Pi Raspberry. In fact, I'll do you one better. Alright, so we mute our SoundCloud music, and then okay, so first also mixer, I'm gonna set it to 90. Okay, then 4. No, not that. Ah, there it is. Alright, I don't remember if I reinstalled MPEG 123 or not, but if I did, what to protect us. Okay, you can hear it occasionally freezing, but
Report said that NASDA developed a fault during a routine systems check. Don't believe it. Someone wanted it.
alright, and let's see. Which one of these is the game? Oh, that one right there. Okay. F9. Yeah, we'll do sig term. And we're gonna also close emulation station because why not? Sorry, just a little happy. Okay, hey Crash, okay, hopefully I can be heard over top of this thing. Crash, I've got these settings currently, should I comment them out? Well, that looks like crap. Okay, let me just show you what they look like. These ones right here is what I got. And it's cutting off a few more ones that I have, but let me just, there you go. Dude, that actually sounds pretty awesome. Okay, wait. That was weird. Let me verify that the stream didn't. I think I hung the pie up actually. Don't ever force close emulation station. But yeah, it's up to you. Alright, so I will just go ahead and toggle power off. And then I'll replace it in a moment. Okay, so I'll pull all of those out and I'll put in the one that you had me put. No bulges. And all the screws are secure. Okay, I gotta figure out where these two go on here. I think the red one goes to that third pin up, but I gotta look at my phone to go back through. Albums, camera. Huh, here we go. It's got the schematics of everything. Okay, so the bottom two. So the bottom one is ground, which I believe that's what this guy is. Alright, now, that's infrared power, wasn't it? I can't remember. Because there's three different things on. Oh, infrared VCC. Now I gotta find another board. Here we go. Okay. So, we have ourselves a nice little handy dandy remote. And, the interface, if Crash wants to change any of the GPU settings. Or not GPU, the MOBA settings. Okay, so, infrared. But I gotta figure out. Oh, right. I think that last one is power. Only reason I don't think I hooked it up was because I wasn't sure if that's what voltage the what voltage basically the control board gets. So I'm gonna guess that middle one is ground, but give me 1 second. LED pin out. Ah, here we go. Black. Okay, so ground, 3.3 volts more than likely. And IR. Signal out, ground BCC. Oh, to 5 volts. Okay, so ground is in the middle, voltage is most likely on the right. 3.3 volts. Okay. So, let's see what we got down here on the Mobo. Okay. Well, actually, I didn't even have to rip those off. I could do it this way. So, come here, you. Okay. So if I put this to ground, whoops, I just turned her off. There we go. Okay, so that pin is 3 volts. Cool. Well, 3.3 volts. Perfect. Means I just, for this application, just hook into the bottom one and the second one. Okay. Alright, so you hook into my bottom one. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we will cut that one to there. I did it! Okay. So this is power, meaning it gets bridged with that bottom one right there. Oh, I guess it would help if I turn on my soldering equipment. Okay. Then we're just going to cut this one the same length. Ish. There we go. Now, Crash, because I don't have a battery for this remote, I have no way of verifying if this works. But at the end of the day, you'll still have the backboard, so. That's assuming you ever even want to change any of the settings on the board, or on the screen. Okay. So, we'll toss this guy on first. Then we'll toss this guy on second. Those were the two wires I said I'd do at closing. Okay. So, now to explain everything. Let me move this over a little bit. Well, actually, I kind of like how that's set up in there. Never mind, maybe I'll leave it. Yeah. Alright, so, Crash, not sure if you're watching at the moment, but this little ribbon right here, oh, I don't need the fan anymore, I can move that. I can close off. And we're going to move. Okay. Now let me refocus. There we go. Okay, so obviously this will plug into your diagnostic board if you want to do, any changes, and the board's labeled power, menu, positive, well, plus plus, negative negative source. So, and then you can change any of your settings to the screen using this board. Hopefully you can even do it using this remote. But I don't have a battery, but up, I think right there. I don't know. Somewhere up there has the infrared light behind the lens, like how this normally does. But if it doesn't work, you can still use that. Okay, so this button right here is for whenever you want to program the teensy. So by default, looking at my text pad, you want it in, which means that the Pi can read it. But you actually want it to be out if you want to program it, hook it up to your computer. But then there's some videos I'll show you on how to program a teensy and stuff like that. But by default, for everyday use, leave it in. Whenever you want to, service the teensy, pop it out just by pushing it in or out. I don't have any, but what I would recommend doing is right there. That's your disable enable for the what do you call it, for the retroboard charger. So I would recommend just getting a stylus, like, the stylus that actually goes in here or something, dremeling it down, and then just gluing it onto that. I don't have anywhere else I would. That way you push the stylus, boom, disables the charger. Well, disables the power to the Pi from the charger. That way you can plug it in and charge a lot faster. And then, out and vice versa. So, the volume wheel is a little harder to turn than I would like, and I've still got to write a script for actually having that adjust your volume, but it does turn and it does read. Obviously, this is your USB to access the teensy, and then right below it is actually the infrared. So if you want to change the screen settings, aim the remote at that. Headphone jack with working audio interrupt, so if you plug headphones in, it should work. And then your charge, and then we got buttons. So I think it's time for a playtest. One second, let me toss this back on. Okay, this is so hard to do upside down. Okay, well, here. One second. Okay, fine. You can go over here then, away from your friends. One second. Toss the HDMI there. I gotta find my wife's fine point Sharpies so I can color that power button a little bit better. These are just the covers for the battery hole, or for the screw holes. I'll put those on once I verify everything is working. Alright, so main power button. There we go. Let's test the inputs. Left. There we go. Okay, cool. Alright. That means it's reading the teensy. Alright, so yes, I can close that. One nine two dot 168.1.165. Come on. Log in. Log in, dang it. Memory split. I think that's how much. Rebooting. Okay, bringing you guys over here for a second. Okay, so it is not letting me connect over RetroPie. Or over SSH, rather. And I bet it changed its IP address. Why does this always happen to me? Okay, I'm gonna have to make a new image real quick. Memory corruption. Okay. So Crash, when you get it, just so you know, it will not have an SD card in it. Because I know you already have one with an image ready to go. And I will just send you the scripts to put on it. But for the moment, I'm gonna reprogram this guy. Okay. Which is actually going to take a minute. Crash is over there jizzing right now. He just isn't showing it. Okay. That should be... Oh, it's not going to boot because it has no power. Duh. Oops. Come here, other keyboard. Man, I'm so happy that my wife's computer is not assembled right now. Because she'd be ticked at me for dismantling her keyboard. Well, not dismantling, borrowing her keyboard. It's not actually dismantled. She just gets mad every time I steal it, but I don't have a spare keyboard for, secondary devices. Okay. That's why I bought it a cover. What do you mean a cover? I'm confused. Okay, I don't need emulation station. Come on. Finish loading RetroPie. Oh, there we go. Alright. Directory. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start from scratch because 2 reasons. One, I honestly don't trust this SD card. I think it was actually in my wife's computer and corrupted. Or not computer, phone, sorry. So let me figure out where I have my other SD cards at. Those are all the little tiny ones. Ah, here we go. They're in here. There's that. And crap, I think my wife has my charger. Or son of a... Okay, bear back, gotta go upstairs. Alright, I'm gonna set this one right there. Okay, 16 gig. I don't know what's on you. Or if anything's on you. But we're going to use the USB 3.0 ports. Okay. Now I'm back. What do you mean by cover, by the way, Crush? You talking about like the skin or whatnot? Oh yeah, I can't flash that one. That one, nope, nope. That was my last phone. SD card, and I have not backed up the stuff off of it yet. So what does that leave us with? Leaves us with another 8 gig. Or... 64 gig. I think that is for the Pi. Alright, let's see. So, continue without scan... Oh, wrong Pi. Continue without scanning. Oh yeah, that is totally for a Pi. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I really want to flash Crash's image onto it and just full out test his image with it, but that would take time. I'm doing it. Sorry, it's gonna take a while. Um, but all in all, we know that it is working. Um, I just gotta change some settings because the SD card that I have is corrupt. Well, was using for test was corrupted. It's actually why I was using that one, is because I knew it has a tendency to corrupt itself. That way I could write over and over and over to it and not feel bad. Okay, so I use Win32. Kill me if you want, but I use Win32 Disk Imager. So Crash, before you put this SD card, or well, put an SD card in your Wii U, you will need to use one of your other Pis to build the image first. Because once it's in there, you can't. Oh crap! You can't set up the network or anything like that. You have to set it up beforehand. Okay, so let's see if I can't find where I saved Crash's image. I bet it's in my downloads folder, knowing me. Yeah, I'll have to find that image, Crash, and I'll burn it. But yeah, oh, there it is. V9 beta. Open file. No, not burn. Dang it! Now I have to search it again. But yeah, I'm gonna um. One second. Open file location. There we go. Oh wow, I feel stupid. Um, but anywho, what I was going to say was that I'm gonna burn that image. I'm gonna set it up. Um, and I'm going to make a little video. I'm not going to make a recording, or not recording. I'm gonna make a little video, but I'm not gonna stream it. Just how to do the software setup, but pretty much everything that you'll need to worry about you can do on the Pi ahead of time. Um, like on a separate Pi ahead of time, I'd recommend either B plus or A plus. Um, but then once you set it up, you should be able to just plug it in and play. So it's literally just a few steps, but yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start writing that, but I'm not going to stay on the stream because, well, one, it's going to take a minute, and by a minute I mean at least 15 minutes. Probably closer to a half an hour. But we do have a working Raspberry Pi, and I'll have some videos up later this week on gameplay. But by later this week, I mean uh, I'll record and then I'll worry about editing. But Crash, um, I'll need to talk to you about some stuff in PM. But yeah, you should be set up. Um, so this build's been fun. I am honestly exhausted with it at this point. Did enjoy it. Did enjoy the challenge. Do want to point that out. Um, but I just thank you guys for sticking with me and putting up with my disappearing acts. So I appreciate you guys for watching and have a good evening.